Hello, this is DM Rob G. Hello, this is DM Rob G, and welcome to Movie Mondays. This one will probably be released on a Saturday. Now, this is actually something I've been thinking of for a very long time. I'm actually going to go ahead and apply a lot of what I learned from doing the Boondock and apply it to doing movie. Now, this one seems to be a copyright magnet, but I'm actually going to need to use the scenes from it to show you exactly how I feel about the movie Star Wars, released in 1977. With that being said, I'm only going to be using select scenes, and I'm going to do that little TV thing and see if that throws off the copyright bots. But I am really looking for opinions on this. So let's begin, and don't forget, yeah, you get it. I remember when Star Wars was owned by Lucas and not Disney, distributed by Fox. Those were the days. See, I'm getting support for my opinions, aren't I? Now this part, look at this right here. I know this is a classic, and I know Star Wars is not the only one to do. I forget how they did it. However, what strikes me is this right here. This music nailed Star Wars. John Williams absolutely did the greatest. Now, I know this star background is a matte painting, and these, I believe, are CGI generated. I know you shouldn't tell and not show. Like, Lucas made it work. No, I'm sorry. The movie made it work. Star Wars is the absolute culmination of multiple people. His wife, Marsha Lucas, actually cut this part down. He put a book. Lucas put a book in here. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Marsha Lucas is the one who made this. This right here. This gorgeous set of text. It is precise, like right here. Pursued by the Emperor's agents, Princess Leia races home aboard her starship, custodian of the stolen plans that can restore her people and restore freedom to the galaxy. Bam, right there. That paragraph is all you need to know about the upcoming scene. Look at everything else. What the Death Star is. A star station with the power to destroy an entire planet. Yes, I see you! Now, that being said, Marsha Lucas took it down from, like, I think a page and a half to 3 paragraphs. Lucas had an entire thing about the history of his planet. Did it go to Spanish there for a second? Galactic Empire, during the battle, pursued by the Emperor's agents. This right here is all you need. And by the way, I probably do have the sound off, open for only certain periods of time, but look at these stars. This, at the time, there were no space movies in cinema, like, at all. There was Star Trek on TV, and that was the biggest one before this. There were other, like, serials, but they never really hit it that big as Star Wars and Star Trek later would. All this right here, this is a painting, and coming from up above, you get a sense of scale. How big is the Tantive 4? Look at it. How big is that ship right now? It's tiny. Look down at the planet. That planet is huge. That moon is small and far away. Both are eclipsed, and you see this streak, this gorgeous little streak of blaster fire right here. That streak of blaster fire, this was the first movie, if I'm not mistaken, to do this. So, you have several points in Star Wars' favor now. You know what's going on right off the bat. 2, the CGI. That Tantive 4 is a model. Tatooine and its moons are a matte painting. By the way, you have I think the atmosphere was added in later. This is the post re-release. And 3, you have Lucasfilm using computers to make the blaster fire. For, if I'm not mistaken, for the first time in a major movie. There were others before this. This is the first major movie. There is an absolute wow factor to the depth, the scale, and pew 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 pew. The blaster fire, which again, the scale. Look how huge the Star Destroyer is. This is why. This is one of the reasons I hate Disney. That ship is one of the most threatening things right now. To 12-year-old me, that Star Destroyer right there is just as threatening as Cujo, as the T-1000, as a Predator. That Star Destroyer, without uttering a word, besides what you read in the movie about Princess Leia being chased by Imperial agents, is the most threatening thing on the screen You have the music. Dun dun da 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 dun da 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 da. That is all you need to establish your villain. It did that quickly. I mean, it made several more mistakes later. You see the green and the white, and you see how useless that red is. You see how... Look again. How quick those red beams are coming out. How quick, pew 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 pew. You see the green ones coming, but the green ones look slow and they look a bit bigger. They look far more subtly threatening. And bam! There it is. You see the green beam hit, you see the explosion absolutely overtaking the Tantive 4. Now look at the detail on that model. You had people, that is amazing. They did that by hand. Look how big the explosion is compared to the rest of the ship. It is currently dwarfing that ship. And fun fact, that Tantive 4 right there, that model, and then you have, of course, the droids. And keep in mind, I don't know anything about robots in movies, but you can see the sterile background of the ship. You can see 2 protocol droids. You see R2-D2 and C-3PO. Now, this little trick that they're about to do. Now, I want you to look through this opening scene real quick. I want you to see something. Okay, from the time it hits, listen to the silence. There's troops running. Another shot of them walking.
Did you hear that? They shut down the main reactor. We'll be destroyed for sure.
Now they're talking.
This is madness.
All right, cool. Beep, beep, beep. And then they're running. He's talking. More troops running. They're getting ready to fire. At what? We don't know. It's just on the ship. Me at 12 had no clue what was going on.
What's that?
You hear the sounds. You're wondering what's going on. And now it's an oh crap moment. All of that took a minute and a half. That scene is actually very poorly shot by today's standards. With that being said, you could probably cut that time down to a half. Or you could cut all that scene down to half. And this is the perfect shot for a scene of the troops running. And boom, see how that flows? Because you're actually shooting 2 different scenes at once. A lot of the reason people don't like Star Wars as a movie, that's why. A lot of the choices they made were actually very poor. You can find fan cuts of these that make the scene a lot snappier and it flows so much better. Because all those troops running were very much superfluous. They added nothing to that particular scene of 3PO and R2-D2 talking. What they do is add to it now. And again, more silence. It flows so much better from a narrative standpoint, and I think the movie suffers because of that flow. Star Wars was released in 1977. It broke ground with CGI, with the very little CGI that it had. This is a small payoff to what we saw before, to the troops running, and then you have all this blaster fire. This is what people in 1977, despite how slow this movie is, went for. Now, as for the flow and the why, I think I have a reason. If you look at The Godfather, you look at Alien, scenes like this had a slow build-up, and I think that is what Lucas is going for. He just couldn't pull it off. Like, cut out half of that, and you have a much more concise, faster-paced scene. Those troopers right there look much more threatening because of the speed they take out the rebels, the speed they invade the ship. Again, more running. Now the payoff to all of that is this. That music. Boom. That breathing. The music. The staring. Letting you soak in Vader's presence. This and all that blaster fire in the background. The walk. The way they move past him. the way the troopers follow him. All that conveys how in control Vader is. They show that he's a bad guy. They did that without talking. That is an amazing film moment. Going back to 1977, again, skipping past all that, this is what you came for on the big screen. This is what I used to play over and over again on my VCR. Yes, I am that old. Shut up. Anyway, on my VCR, on my DVD, on MP4. Anyway, troop. They are still very threatening, and they would have been much more so 50 feet tall in a movie theater with a fast-paced scene. The reason people tend to like Return of the Jedi is because it fixed the mistakes Star Wars did in 1977. Now, all of that suddenly snaps to this. We remember a Princess Leia from the beginning. And of course, they're running, because holy hell, they're scary. Remember a Princess Leia, and therefore that must be her. That right there is clever filmmaking. In truth, in Hollywood, there are very few purely good or purely bad movie men. Like, Lucas would get skilled, but he clearly was in over his head. We have no idea what's going on. It's a mystery that will absolutely solve itself later. I, as a kid, was intrigued the first time I saw this. What's going on? And part of the reason I wasn't as intrigued as I could have been was those aforementioned scenes.
What are we going to do? We'll be sent to the spice mines of Kessel or smashed into who knows what.
And that line right there, the spice mines of Kessel, he's doing something J.R.R. Tolkien did. He is hinting at a bigger world that we don't actually see on camera. The spice mines of Kessel were covered in later books, comics, short stories, movies, TV, and the story moves along. Fine. Be a visual.
The Death Star plans are not in the main computer.
Where are those transmissions you intercepted? What have you done with those plans?
Again, right here, hinting at the bigger story.
Mission! This is a consular ship! We're on a diplomatic mission!
If this
We, as the audience, know he's lying through his teeth.
is a consular ship, where is the ambassador?
And the fact that he choked him was absolutely badass to me as a kid.
Until you found those plans and bring me the passengers, I want them alive!
The way Vader screams, his voice. Like, this entire area could be set up a whole lot better. It's knowing how much film I have now, this is awkward to me.
There's one. Set for
The way they had this set up. Like, it would flow so much better, all the Leia in one section. Like that scene with R2-D2 where she puts the little chip into him. Take that and put it all in one section. Like after Vader absolutely throws the guy, put that scene part where they are running. Maybe add a little scene of them like pulling their hands up. After all of that, that's when you have the Leia. Now, the way they cut it, I get it. Because if you look, the way the scenes are intercut, they are to show the passage of time. A lot of movies, Aliens, Godfather, Terminator, all those scenes have time passing without telling the audience exactly how much. It's actually one of the big debates of Star Wars, how long between each scene. And we'll never see anything like that again. If you look at Star Wars the movie, knowing from all the books, from all the TV, from the video games, you can see where they started their world and they didn't know what to do with it, versus what it became. That stun shot, I'm not sure it ever came up in many other movies, if at all. It's always the blaster shot because that's always more exciting. Instead of a single shot taking someone down like Leia, it's always the net, the struggle. It's always far more dramatic than just pew!
He'll be all right. Inform Lord Vader we have a prisoner.
Hey!
And then and then if you want to show some of the C-3PO R2-D2 scenes in between to show passage of time, fine. This is a really good way to end on it.
Deactivated for sure.
Now I know the audience can't tell what he's saying right here,
Now, come on,
but with CPO translating, we can actually infer what he's saying.
What are you talking about? I'm not getting in bed.
Pew pew bang bang.
I'm going to regret this.
Choom. And the sound effects are fucking gorgeous. That little echo right there. Music.
There goes another one.
Hold your fire. There's no life forms.
And we have no idea who these guys are. Now, with that being said, we talk about something called real-life inference. We can infer that these guys are different parts. Like, I know the U.S. Navy is different from the U.S. Marine. Therefore, these guys might be Navy, or they might be Air Force, or those guys might be Army or something. These guys are clearly on the ship, given the fact that there's a viewport and the fact that they're in different uniforms. We can clearly infer that they are Navy. Like, other than establishing that there's an Imperial Navy behind that, I'm gonna say I love that scene despite it probably not being that necessary, other than to establish that there's an Imperial Navy on board that ship and how lucky they got.
Are you sure this thing is safe?
Again, this shot right here is sheer godliness. I mean, my God, look at it. The atmosphere, the planet itself. Whoever did this painting is fucking wonderful. I just want to like wrap it up in a blanket and soak into it. But 1977, remember, no other movie did space to this extent. Star Wars, and I'll emphasize this again, Star Wars became successful as it is because of its beauty. Again, look at the passage of the time. Now she's awake. Now she's being taken to Lord Vader.
Darth Vader.
You could probably cut that by like 6 seconds or so and just have her walking down the hallway rounding the corner. But I mean, the atmosphere here is gorgeous. I don't mind that much.
The Imperial Senate will not sit still for this. When they hear you've attacked a diplomatic...
Don't act so surprised, Your Highness.
Now remember, this is the first movie. This is the first time anyone's ever heard of Star Wars. This is the first time any of this has ever happened. We have no idea what the hell is going on. Especially for a first time viewing. Now, with Vader right here, with this little verbal spat.
This time, several transmissions were beamed to the ship by rebel spies. I want to know what happened to the plans they sent you.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm a member of the Imperial Senate on a diplomatic mission to Alderaan.
You are part of the Rebel Alliance and a traitor. Take it away!
Now, that right there, all that is all you need to know about their characters right now. It told you a lot. Leia, given what Vader has said, Leia's lying through her teeth right now. Absolutely lying through her teeth. Vader, of course, knows better. And again, we refer to the Rebel Alliance from the first opening crawl. This is amazing. Like, you've built so much of the world just in this little scene. You could have cut it for movie purposes.
Holding her is dangerous. Word of this gets out, it could generate sympathy for the rebellion in the Senate.
I have traced the rebel spies to her. Now she is my only link to finding their secret base.
She'll die before she'll tell you anything.
Leave that to me. Send a distress signal, and then inform the Senate that all aboard were killed.
Right there. All you need to know about you needing to know how the Empire acts. They are clearly the villain. Taking prisoners saying, oh, no, all aboard were killed.
Are not aboard this ship, and no transmissions were made. An escape pod was jettisoned during the fighting, but no life forms were aboard.
She must have hidden the plans in the escape pod. Send a detachment down to retrieve them. See to it personally, Commander. There'll be no one to stop us this time.
Now, everything from Vader to Leia flows excellently. This, had the entire movie flowed like this, I think it would be much more of a cult classic than it actually is. Now, there's a couple of scenes, but look at this establishing shot. That vast desert like Dune. Like, I'm not actually sure how they filmed this. I think with them on a soundstage of Saint, with all of that background being a paint, you see them walking away from the little ship, and you've established Tatooine as a desert planet. At least they're in one.
Don't get technical with me. What mission? What are you talking about? I've just about had enough of you. Go that way.
Like,
you'll be malfunctioning within a day, you know.
Their bickering takes up so much time. I'm not sure what Lucas was going for because I don't know of all his deleted scenes. However, like, all their chatter before this was completely irrelevant to the movie. Cut that out, save 30 seconds, add something else in somewhere. What? add something else in somewhere. At least that's how I feel about it. I know you need character, but look how much character you showed with Vader and Leia in 30 seconds. You can totally do this with these without all the irreverent. Now here I can tell it's a painting. You have the set on the bottom, and then you have all that in the background. It might be me growing up with movies like these that had that painting set hybrid, but I can see the difference. This goes on way too long. Show a shot of him leaving and you're good. Oh my god, that is so beautiful. Look the way he runs. Or rolls. This right here is the biggest problem I have with getting people into the Star Wars movie. Star Wars itself is so slow. What the hell is that? I mean, look at that thing. I mean, he's complaining. That's character building, fine. But what the hell is that? It's a Krayt Dragon, I know that now. But if this is the first movie you saw, what the hell is it? Like, we have no idea what this thing is. Fine. Oh, this is a good scene to include.
What's that? A transport. I'm saved. Over here!
Again, a scene that could easily been 30, 40 seconds, extended to 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes. What? And you don't need him bouncing around like this. For as long as he is, at least. And I love I love the Rockies. Tatooine is a desert planet, but it isn't just a desert like it is in any of Disney's. There's Badland. And I would love to know how he's getting over those small stones, because those wreak havoc on tiny wheels. This is one of the strengths of Star Wars. It might be slow, but look at those eyes. Look at those eyes and that hood. That hood. Jesus! What the fuck, critic? Cat's a critic, apparently. Those eyes, you have no idea what those eyes are. It jumps to that hood. Granted, you could easily cut R2-D2 out. Fine, good, I get that. Awesome. But those eyes, the first two eyes and the second two eyes, build upon one another. You have to know what that is, and it's just the second pair. You have a little bit more info. If you want to keep this, great. You don't need this. You don't need the rocks falling. You don't need to hold it here for so long. This shot, fine. If you wanted to cut from the scene of the first Jawa to this, great. You speed it up so much better. It flows so much nicer. Him rolling, great. And then you have this. The view of him from that little Jawa, gorgeous. Again, more silence, more depth. Now, if you cut all that irreverent scene out and just show the Jawa, you make the scene a lot better. You give him the sense that he's surrounded much bigger, and then you have him jump. Now that little shot, great. Or you see that EMP over and over again. And can I say something? I love how his little blaster right there is very clearly some of the tools that I use. That right there looks like a circular drill I used to use. It's clearly attached to some pipe, which in turn are attached to some random stuff. Bink. And all you need to show him is going down, and you don't need all this. Maybe show a few shots of them swarming, and again, it can cut this scene down by half. I've saved a total of about 6 or 7 minutes of a movie, and I am 12 minutes in. Maybe gathering, showing them carrying him, and jump to the next scene. We see that same thing C-3PO got. We have far more information about that sandcrawler shown via movie than we have over Palpatine's return. See, if you cut all that out and jump to here, we have no idea what's going on to that poor little guy. Lucas wanted, like Lucas had, I think what Lucas had was the plan of a big world. So he hinted at it in the same way J.R.R. Tolkien did. Shink! There he goes. And like, this is fine right here. I'm fine with this. What Star Wars really did, the greatest thing it's ever done, is to show its world. This little droid right here, we have no idea what it is. However, it will show up in the book. It will be expanded upon and expanded upon. I remember a book called The Essential Droids to Star Wars, and it had this guy. He had, I think, 2 full 8x11 pages of information on him because of all the books that were written about him. Lucas did wonderful at hinting at his big world. He did a lot better than Disney. The language he used, completely different. Again, they're talking, we have no idea about what. I think that right there is part of the atmosphere, that we have no idea what's going on. They're all moving, they're all droids. They don't speak English. Like this little droid right here. Gonk. Gonk. That's all he did. Star Wars became such a big, for example, that Gonk droid in the extended universe that's now known as Legends, that Gonk droid is a mobile generator. It speaks in that gonk, gonk, gonk sound. There is a short story where those gonk droids developed their own religion. They would evangelize in their gonk language. Just going gonk, 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 trying to tell about their little robot god. Okay, listen to this. The cult of the Power Droid is a galaxy culture spanning monotheistic religion centered solely around the belief that the GNK series Power Droid is an omnipotent deity. While the religion has no real headquarters or hub, Ahas Rotsiv Marhog, Vigo of Interior for the Black Sun, is currently High Priest and therefore primary ambassador to the deity of the congregation. Gonk is the ultimate power in the universe. The ability to destroy a planet is insignificant next to the power of Gonk. Gonk can transcend space and time and has been directly responsible for countless turning points in intergalactic history. That is according to the Holocron, a Star Wars wiki. According to the StarWars.fandom.com, another Star Wars wiki, the Declaration of Self-Determination is Gonk, 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 and let me get this right. Gonk, Gonk. GNK Power Droids, also known as Gonk Droids, are industrial automation knockoff of the successful EG-6 Power Droid. Sometime after the Battle of Endor, rumors began to spread of a cult of the Power Droids. Apparently, a pair of GNK Power Droids, right there, would come to one's door and request funding for their fringe religious group. Advice from renowned linguist Eben Q3 Baobab was that one should merely utter the phrase Gonk 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 Ko Kaingasi, a highly controversial statement that was not allowed to be legally translated. See Baobab Security Directive 51C. Do you see how this world building became part of Star Wars' legacy and helped fuel it as a cult classic? If these are not included, Star Wars would have been a big movie, but I do not believe it would have ever been a cult classic like it is. Like, that is the power of the world building in Star Wars, when it's done well. And of course they found each other.
R2-D2, it is you, it is.
Which, I mean, right now that is all you need. And they held on for too long. Star Wars had a re-release in 1997. This is one of the scenes that they added. Lucas has said that he wanted to add this in the original movie. That lizard thing right there that they're riding is called a dugong. It is shown in one scene and it is in the distance. It had its own action figure. I tried to find an original, but I couldn't. Like, this right here was just added in for that scene I mentioned. This is it. All you saw was that one guy on the left riding that thing. It became a highly successful action.
Someone was in the pod. The tracks go off in this direction. Look, sir, Droid.
Another fun. The Look Sir Droids guy became his own character and his own short story. He would go on to turn against the Empire and assist the rebellion. I find that fascinating that a character who just had a single line soon got his own name from an author. Star Wars had gotten so big that people were demanding a lot of content. That was one of the things that was produced. I cannot emphasize how big Star Wars was in the 70s, in the 80s, and the 90s. That Sandcrawler crawling away, you didn't need that, because it's right here. Like, all this, fine. I'm here for this. Like this scene. I'm fine with it. It's good. I'm glad it's here. Look at the way they have everything gathering. You don't know what these things are, but they have their own action. I love that dee 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 dee.
Uncle, if he gets a translator, be sure it speaks Bachi.
Doesn't look like we have much of a choice, but I'll remind
Like,
him.
you absolutely need to make some world building, and this is how you do it. And I'm here for it. I'm not a fan of this scene where he's walking up. They could have just cut to this scene right now. Again, a nitpick. I mean, him talking to C-3PO
Protocol? Why, it's my primary function, sir. I am well versed in...
is a fucking classic. And the fact that he did that made me wonder what the fuck. And this scene right here. Fun fact about this scene. There was a book, and this is how cheesy Star Wars got. There was a book where R2-D2 was talking to R5 right here. Yes, his name is R5. He got a name. To R5. R2-D2 explained to R5 what was going on, therefore R5 blew his top on purpose. That's how cheesy the Star Wars books got.
Excuse me, sir, but that R2 unit is in prime condition. A real bargain.
By the way, can I say exactly how much I love how C-3PO stood up for R2-D2 right there? It's just so adorable, given how they fought earlier.
I'm quite sure you'll be very pleased with that one, sir. He really is in first-class condition. I've worked with him...
I've worked with him before.
Here he comes.
Like, I might be just an old bastard, but I miss how cute some of these scenes were. Doing YouTube has shown me exactly what cutting a few seconds here or there can do. Like, cutting from this scene, cutting it right here, and then picking up right here, has shown me exactly what it can do for flow. It works wonders. It's great. Like, hello, you might realize that this part is not part of the movie. Unfortunately, this is my first big project, and I vastly overestimated how much work it would actually take. So as a result, I have to cut this review short into several different parts. Probably 2 different parts, as I'm getting a load of this new fancy video editing hardware that I got. But for now, I have to go ahead and cut it here as a part 1. I hope everyone has enjoyed it so far. Now, I hope to be as entertaining as a lot of the other people are. Now, I know I won't be, and I appreciate your help in telling me where I went wrong and where I went right. Now, as for the music in the background, I actually realized that I couldn't use all Star Wars' music, which for obvious reasons. So I had to go ahead and get a couple of those free packs that I had and put those in. I wasn't that familiar with them, so I actually put them in semi-randomly. I apologize for that, and everyone please have fun and enjoy.